This is going to be one of the most important videos that you are really going to need to watch, pay attention to, and take notes. So please open up your phone, wherever you put your notes, go get a notepad if you have to. I want you to write certain things down, okay? Because I want you to apply these things step by step. If you are looking to burn fat, gain muscle, even gain weight, whatever your goal is, in order to truly transform your body, you have to watch this video and apply everything that I'm about to share with you. And you have to watch the video to the end, because there are very important things that I also want to talk about regarding when it comes to the diet and everything that not a lot of trainers are talking about. And it's very important that we don't disentangle the two and that we approach it from every aspect, okay? And I'm going to get into it right now. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what calories are, what macros are, what your TDEE is, what all of this means, and why is it so important for you to understand, okay? Now, if you're someone that's struggling with an eating disorder, okay, be careful, because what we're about to do can be triggering for someone who is struggling with an eating disorder. I feel like as long as you have the right mindset, the right coaching, you look at everything in a positive way, and you have a positive connection with food, or you build that positive connection with food, okay, that positive relationship with food, then it might not affect you, okay? Because I had eating disorders in the past, but because I switched my way of thinking, and it doesn't affect me now. But for someone who's struggling in the beginning, I would say this might be a trigger for you. So I had to put it out there at first, okay? Now, I'm going to explain to you, majority of the time, why a lot of people struggle to lose weight. Now, this topic, it relates to everyone. Everyone needs to know and understand the foundation of what I'm about to share with you. But if you're someone that is dealing with a certain kind of health condition, some kind of hormonal imbalances, or really digestive issues like IBS and stuff like that, okay? Then this topic is still something that you need to understand, but there are many other factors that we have to consider, okay? If you're dealing with insulin resistance, hypothyroidism, any type of hormonal imbalance, you still need to watch this video, because all of this will still apply to you. But you will just need to be on a different kind of food plan. And I'm going to explain everything to you right now. But this is the first thing that you have to understand, is energy balance. And what I mean by energy balance is food is energy, okay? Whenever we eat, it gives us energy to survive so that our body can function properly, yeah? Now, if we eat more food than the amount of energy that we are burning, then we can gain weight, okay? So now if you look at any product, in the back of the product, it will say calories, okay? Calories basically is the amount of energy that we get from food. And that's how they define it. Okay, so that's why people, they look at it, they're like, okay, that's 200 calories. I already had this amount of calories. If I eat that, it's going to be too much. I'll gain weight. Okay, so I'm just simplifying for you in the beginning before I jump into it slowly. Okay, so when we eat less than the amount of energy that we are burning, we will lose weight. Okay, so that's why it's important to understand, how much cardio am I going to do? How much am I supposed to eat? Because you could still eat healthy and you can gain weight. And you can still eat junk food and you can lose weight because of the energy balance, because you can calculate how much you're burning throughout your day, depending on the amount of activity that you're doing and your height and your age and all of that. It can all be calculated. And people, they test it. They say, you know what? For an example, I want to eat McDonald's and chocolate. I don't want to eat healthy, but I still want to lose weight. Some people do that. You have a lot of people, they're skinny, they eat that. They burn a lot, but they're not eating that much. They're not eating 10 burgers a day. They're still eating an amount that's less than what they're burning, okay? But the thing with this is that it has effects later on your health. And the more unhealthy foods that we eat, the toxic foods that we eat and put into our body, the amount of sugar, processed and packaged foods, they cause hormonal imbalances and inflammation within our stomach, within our gut. And if we are dealing with hormonal imbalances and too much toxic overload in our body doesn't burn fat efficiently. So someone could still eat junk food and lose weight, but in the long run, they will deal with hormonal imbalances, gut issues, bloating, digestive issues, and then they run into the issues of not being able to lose weight. And that's why a lot of people are insulin resistant, pre-diabetes, diabetic, and they can't lose weight and they have a big stomach. Because it can come from stress and it can come from the amount of junk food and sugary foods that that person has been having all their life, that now their hormones became imbalanced. Okay? So that's why it's very important to not only focus on energy balance, to be aware that even when your body's not healthy, it will not burn efficiently. So you have to keep that in mind, because a lot of people, they only talk about energy balance, but then they don't talk about how all of these foods affect us on a cellular level. Okay? So I just want to make that very clear in the beginning. Okay? Now, those are calories. Now you can calculate how many calories your body needs in order to survive without even working out, moving around, just laying in your bed. Okay, that's called your BMR. BMR, your basal metabolic rate. Now you don't have to memorize these things. I'm just trying to make you understand, okay? So your BMR is the amount of energy that your body needs to survive without doing anything. Then you have your TDEE, okay? Your total daily energy expenditure. That is the amount of energy that your body needs to maintain with the amount of energy that you're burning. So it calculates what you do throughout your day, how much energy you're burning in the activity if you exercise, and according to your age and your height and everything. And then it tells you, okay, this is the amount of calories you need to survive. That's your BMR. This is the amount of calories that you need according to the energy that you burn throughout your day. Okay? And then that's what we calculate to understand where you are at, where you should be at in your range according to your age, your height, and the activity that you do. Okay? But it will never be 100% correct because everyone's body is different depending on the kind of activity, the kind of training, the kind of foods that they're eating also play a big role on how your body will burn energy. Okay? So that's why it's important understanding the kind of foods, the kind of activity, and all that plays a role as well. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to go to my website, okay? My website is DINAS, okay? .tv, dinas.tv. Now you're gonna click there, and I made a specific page just for you, okay? And it says calculating BMR or calculating your macros or calories, okay? I want you to click on that. There's going to be a little link, okay, under this video to calculate your calories. I want you to click on that link. Now I want you to enter at the top, you'll see your age, your height, the activity that you're doing, okay, and your weight. So it says, do you work on the office? So it tells you the working level is sitting down. And your activity level, how many times do you exercise? Okay, so what you've been doing in the past, not now today, but so you have an idea of how you were, okay? I want you to write that number down, okay? Write that number down. You'll have your BMR number and you'll have your TDEE, okay? So you find out, you'll see calculated both. So I want you to get both of those numbers so you have an idea of where you should be at, just to have an idea, okay? Now that's just calories. Now we have to go into, so keep that number on the side because we're going to go into that later. So now you write it down, you keep it on the side, okay? So now that was calories. How much calories you need according to to function and the activity. Now there's something called macros, your macronutrients. Your macros are what are you getting from the food that you're eating? So we have carbohydrates, we have fats, and we have proteins, okay? So each food will have a ratio of some, okay? Each food might be very high carb, little fat, a moderate protein. Some food might be high protein, high fat. For an example, salmon. Salmon is a high protein meal, but it's also high fat. Hamur, grouper, is a high protein, but it's very low fat, okay? Chicken breast is high protein, but no fat. Chicken thigh is high protein, high fat. So you have these different ratios, yeah? Now you have your carbohydrates, okay? Now your protein, just to understand, let me go back. Your protein helps your skin, your hair, your bones, your muscles, okay? Your cartilage, everything. All the cells in your body, okay? That's what your protein helps you with, many functions in the body. Now you have your carbohydrates. Your carbohydrates is your first source of energy. So when your body needs energy, it takes it from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your vegetables, and then you have other carbohydrates. You have many kinds of carbohydrates, but just to simplify it. In the healthy food, you have your vegetables, let's say oatmeal, brown rice, quinoa, beans, lentils. These are all carbohydrates. Sweet potato, lentils, yeah, those are all carbohydrates, okay? So you have, to keep it simple, you have your fiber carbohydrates, you have complex, and you have simple. So think of a paper being burned. That paper burns fast, yeah? Imagine that as bread. That's simple carbohydrates. Why? Because when we eat it, whenever we eat a carbohydrate, the body breaks it down, it turns it into sugar. So our body can use it for energy. So it converts it to sugar, yeah? So that's why when you have sugar and we eat pure sugar, it gives us immediate energy because our body doesn't need to convert it. It's already converted, okay? That's why when we have high sugary foods and we don't burn it, we store it as fat because our body didn't need any time to convert it. So immediately it goes in our body and our body's like, we have abundance of energy. Oh, but she's only sitting watching TV. Where are we gonna go? She's not burning it. What are we gonna do with all this energy? Oh, just go store it in the stomach. It's all right. Go wherever the fat is and linger in there. And that's what happens. That's why when we take something energy, we want to be able to burn it within that time so we don't store it. Now, you have complex carbohydrates, which is like sweet potato, brown rice. Those, imagine you're burning wood. Burn slowly. So it converts into sugar slower. So it doesn't affect your blood sugar as much. That's why when we eat sugary foods and pastas and breads and all of that and packaged foods that convert into sugar fast make us diabetic because it's converting into sugar very fast into the blood, spiking our blood sugar level, okay? And too much of that can make us diabetic, okay? That's why it's important that it's not only about focusing, oh, but I can eat bread and all of this, I'm skinny. Okay, it's not about being skinny, okay? That's why you have thin people with a stomach as well. You know, this big stomach, too much blood sugar, too much insulin. When the blood is high, it affects our hormone insulin. And insulin is a fat storing hormone as well. So if it's one of the things that it does. But if you're always having foods that are spiking your blood sugar and creating that imbalance within that hormone, we store fat. That's why we always try to keep insulin low, okay, which I will go into later, okay? So that's your carbohydrates, okay? Then you have fiber. Your fiber, we don't really digest, okay? So it goes in our body, it leaves our body. It doesn't be digested and utilized, okay? But it's good for us because it pushes everything out. So it's really good when we take fibrous foods. And it's hard to digest, so it's good. It causes a lot of energy in our body. It burns a lot of energy because your body's trying to digest it. It's like going to work. It's like, man, this food ain't digesting, man. It needs a lot of work to burn. Sugar doesn't need any energy. You know what I mean? So we want to eat foods that are also a little bit harder to break down because I will explain to you in a minute, okay? Because that uses a lot of energy. It's like a machine. It's like, all right, get to work, man. We're eating fiber. All right, we got to push this one out. So it's working, it's working, it's working. You know what I mean? Sugar, it's like, oh, that's sugar. We don't need to work. The body becomes lazy. We don't need to digest this. This is easy work, you know? So that's why we want these kind of foods in our body. Okay, then we have fats. So we have unhealthy fats like vegetable oil is the worst, okay? Vegetable oil, genetically modified food, we want to avoid, okay? It's very toxic to the body. And then you have your other unhealthy fats from fried skin, fried foods and stuff like that. What we want are like avocados, okay? They're high in fat. It's a fruit, but it's also high in fat. Seeds, nuts, raw seeds, okay? Fats from salmon, sardine. These are healthy fats. Olive oil, olives. These are great healthy sources of fat, okay? That's what we want. And you have fats in the egg, the yellow part. That's also very good, okay? So these are your healthy sources of fats. So what we need, and the fats are very good for our brain, for our nervous system to function, for our hormones to be balanced. It keeps us full for long periods of time, okay? So what's important is understanding now the ratio of these proteins, fats, and carbs, okay? Now your protein, I will try to keep it very simple now, and I'm going to break down certain things, okay? So just to kind of have an overall idea about your macros. Your weight in pounds is the amount of protein you need if you are exercising all the time, if you're training your muscles, okay? That's like the maximum, like, yeah, that's perfect. So if I weigh 140 pounds, I need 140 grams of protein, okay? Not 140 grams that you get chicken, you weigh it, you're like, oh, the chicken breast weighs 140, but that's 140 protein. No, it's the amount of protein that's in the chicken, okay? And I will teach you how to calculate it in a simplified way just in the beginning. You don't have to do this forever. You do this for a week or two just to have an idea. It's not about to obsess over numbers. It's just to have an idea of what is inside of the food that you're eating. That's all, okay? So let's say now you're 150 pounds, 150 protein. Now let's look at your weight in kilograms. Now we looked at it in pounds. Now let's look at your weight in kilo. If you're 60 kilo, then you will need 60 grams of fat maximum. Okay, maximum, just so you have an idea. And the carbs you play with, okay? Because your carbs is your energy source. So depending on how your energy feels, this is how we play with the carbs. Now what you need to know is that you cannot be eating a high carb diet or a meal with high fat, okay? They cannot be both high for reasons. If they're both high, your caloric meal will be high. You'll have high calories because fat has more calories than carbs and protein, okay? Don't want to confuse you right now. Now, too much calories. Second, when you have a high fat meal with high carb, now when we eat carbs, okay, insulin, the hormone, just to keep it simple, it comes up, it opens up your cell to let the carbohydrate in our cell for energy. Now, when we eat a high carb, our cell is open. It's like, all right, carbs, enter the cell. We are ready for the energy. Okay, so the cell is open now. So if the cell is open, we don't want to eat a high-fat meal with high carb because the fat will be like, I want to get in that cell. I want to store inside of there. You know what I mean? So then the fat can enter the cell as well. Those are the two reasons, to keep it simple, okay? So we want to be able to have a ratio of it. Now, when we are looking at fat loss, a really good method is called carb cycling. The carbohydrates, your rice, your potato, your beans, the lentils, all that, okay? Quinoa, couscous, all that stuff, frike, all that, okay? We want to carb cycle it. Some days we have zero carb, and when we have zero carb, we have higher fat, because now we have no carbs. So we have higher fat meals, eggs and avocado in the morning, salmon in the afternoon, you know what I mean, with vegetables. At night, you could have chicken soup with olive oil inside of there, or just a hand of nuts, you know, a handful of nuts or whatever. That will be a high fat day, so zero carb. Then we have days where it's low carb. A low carb, you can have like overnight soaked oatmeal, okay? And then the rest of your day, you'll focus on protein and low fat. So you have low carb, higher protein, low fat, okay? Now, so you have 0 carb one day. The other day you have a little bit more carb. Now another day you can go a little bit higher into the carb, okay? And I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that and give you a guideline. But I'm explaining right now so you understand. Now, the way we want to cycle our carbs, we want to do that according to the exercise that we're doing, okay? Because we need those carbs for energy, yeah? So we want to eat higher carb days the day before we're about to do a hardcore training. Like say, for an example, you're going to train legs tomorrow. Then the day before, you have your carbs. Because it will take time for your carbs to be broken down, because you're not going to eat bad carbs. You're not going to eat bread. Bread, you eat it, you go work out immediately, but you don't even want those toxic foods that create inflammation, because then it's going to slow down your weight loss transformation, give you cellulite, saggy skin. So it's not only about the calories, but it also affects how you look, your hair, your skin, everything, okay? So, say you're going to have sweet potato salad with chicken in the afternoon. You're going to have your training the next day, and you want to use up all that energy from the food into your training so you're strong and full of power, right? So we will cycle it around your workouts. Now, if you are in the beginning of your training program that you joined with me, right now you're training full body almost 4 days a week. So the carb cycling will be different later when I change your routine, because later you're going to have leg day and you're going to be killing legs. Then we're going to carb load the day before. But right now, we're not doing that. So I'm going to give you a guideline in the beginning what you're going to be following. Now, who should be following this guideline? If you want to burn fat and lose weight, if you're dealing with a dysfunctional thyroid, okay? And now, if you're someone that is dealing with insulin resistance, okay, listen, I will still put you on carb cycling just in the beginning, but I'm going to change your food plan, okay? Because if you're really someone that is insulin resistant, or maybe you don't know, but you have a big stomach, then I'm going to put you on a high-fat diet, okay? And I don't want to freak you out. But a high-fat diet, to keep it simple, is what is it going to do? We remove all the carbs from your body. All the carbs. You have little protein, mainly fat. What is that going to do? It's going to switch your energy source. It's going to tell your body, we're not using carbs for energy anymore, we're using fat for energy. And then when you lower your calories a little bit, you're forcing your body to go to your own fat for energy. There are many reasons why people do this. One, it lowers insulin. So if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, this will balance your hormones. If you're dealing with PCOS as well, polycystic ovary syndrome, you will be following the same guidelines as someone who's insulin resistant, because it's the same thing. Polycystic affects insulin, insulin affects PCOS. They both are on the same path, okay? So you would be following the same guidelines for that. But in the beginning, I cannot put you on a food plan like that because it's a little dramatic. And I don't want your body to feel completely drained out of energy, because right now you started the program with me. And if you jump from training and being tired and exercising into a high-fat diet, all of a sudden it's going to be overwhelming on the body. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow the plan like everyone else. You're going to follow the carb cycling, and all of you can do this if you want, but this is mainly now I'm speaking to people with a big stomach and that are insulin resistant and that are dealing with hypothyroidism and polycystic ovary syndrome. When you eat your starchy carbohydrates like brown rice, you're not going to eat anything. I'm going to give you a list. Brown rice, gluten-free oatmeal, quinoa, frike, okay? Couscous, quinoa, if I didn't mention that. You're going to eat these foods, sweet potato, all cold. You're going to put it in the refrigerator for 3 hours. And it's going to bring back something that's called resistance starch. Now, when you eat it cold and you bring back that resistant starch, it's not going to affect your blood sugar levels as much, okay? So anyone can do this, but this is mainly for people that have hormonal imbalances, okay? So we don't want to affect those hormones, but we still want to provide you with energy. Now, you're going to do the carb cycling, and then we're going to slowly get you off the carbs. And I'm going to explain that in the next video, separate for people who are insulin resistant and PCOS. People that are dealing with any thyroid dysfunctional thyroid is going to stick to carb cycling like everyone else. If you're very skinny and you want to gain weight, you're going to be eating carbs every day, okay? Just moderate carbs. And I'm going to explain now how. So everyone is going to follow a carb cycling food plan. And I'm going to show you the guidelines on my website what to do so that you can always click there and it's clear for you. That's why I put it there. Okay? So you can always just go back if you get confused and stuff. All right? So carb cycling is what we're going to do. And the reason for that is because when you remove carbs sometimes, some days out of the week, you're producing something called ketones. When we produce ketones, this is teaching our body how to use our own fat for energy instead of always relying on carbohydrates. So we want our body to adapt to both. We don't want our body to always rely only on the source of carbohydrates. We want our body to tap into our own fat for energy because it can. And you will feel good as well. And your insulin will be low. And your sugar cravings will eventually be suppressed and be less, okay? So there are many reasons, many benefits of this, okay? So it's not only, this is a healthy approach. And burning fat is a side effect. We're not looking at how do we lose weight because you can go on a juice diet and lose a lot of weight. But is that healthy? No, because just because you're losing weight, it doesn't mean you're burning fat. You could be losing muscle. And if you lose muscle, your metabolism goes low. Okay, so we want to approach it in a very healthy way. Now, when we think of ways to burn more energy, we think of the kind of exercise that we do and the kind of foods that we eat. Okay, high intensity interval training, and I explained it in one of the videos. Now, what I say, you do 30 seconds intense, and then 30 seconds you walk, for an example, and then 30 seconds you run as fast as you can. So when you do exercise that requires, without oxygen, you're not breathing, and it takes you a while to be able to get back to your breathing properly, this burns more energy. It requires a lot of energy, yeah? And the kind of foods that you eat, it's called thermic effect on foods. Protein has a thermic effect on foods. What does that mean? When we eat protein, it's hard to digest. It's not easy. Okay, so the body uses a lot of energy to break that food down. So that's called the thermic effect on food. So we want fibrous foods, we want high protein foods, okay? But an insulin resistant person is going to be different. But for now, you do the carb cycling and we gradually get you into it. Because when you're dealing with insulin resistance, diabetes, or PCOS, high protein diets are not the way to go to, okay? Needs to be low, moderate protein. And I'll explain later, okay? But on a normal person who's just normal, no big stomach, no hormonal issues, they just want to burn fat, get lean, and build muscle, carb cycling is the way to go, okay? Now, you have the numbers with you, okay? Now I want you to download an app. It's a free app, and it's called MyFitnessPal. Now, many of you probably already heard of MyFitnessPal, but not a lot of people know how to use it, okay? So what I want you to go in there, and I'm going to show you in detail in the video how to use it exactly. So you're going to go in there, you're going to create your account, okay? And you're going to put in your weight. Sorry, the camera cut off. So you're going to go in there. You're going to put your weight and all that. MyFitnessPal is going to give you a number. But usually these numbers are not accurate and they're very high when it comes to carbohydrates. I don't know why. Okay, so you're going to go in there. You're going to click on your profile. and you're going to go to your goals, okay? In your goals, you can put your calories, okay? And I want you to put the TDEE number that you found, okay? That number is the amount that you need to eat in order to maintain where you are right now, okay? You put in that number. Now you go to your macros, okay? Now you're gonna see the different macronutrient ratios that I put onto the website, okay? And I want you to put, say, roughly, because I want to explain to you how to do the carb cycling. Now you have the different ratios. Let's just put your protein at 40%, okay? Your carbs at 30%, and your fats at 20%, okay? It needs to reach 100%, okay? 40 protein, 30 carbs, 20 fats, okay? For now. This is just for now, okay? You first need to get a feel of everything, okay? Now, what I want you to do, and this is the most important thing, that no trainers are telling anyone. They don't approach it like this. Now, say for an example, you're eating 5,000 calories a day. You cannot go to 1,500 calories. Your body will shut down, okay? It will go into what's called a survival mechanism, and it will affect certain hormones like leptin, okay? Which I don't want to get into. Now, I don't want to make it complicated for you, okay? So you cannot jump from eating burgers or rice or matluba and all these kind of foods with ghee and stuff in it that's probably 5,000 calorie diet, and now you have to eat 1,500, your body will freak out. And now you're exercising and everything, it's like, it's too much, okay? So your body will say, yo, I'm not used to having this less energy, so it will start to preserve your fat because it's freaking out. It doesn't know if it will get enough energy to survive, okay? So that's why when people go on a very low calorie, it can actually be, what's that word? Your body can do the opposite, okay? So your body starts to freak out and it's like, okay, no, we're not used to this kind of energy. So we want to do what's called reverse dieting, okay? So what I want you to do, because sometimes people, they're not even eating, and they're eating 1,000 calories, but they're not losing weight, but because they're not eating the right foods, or they have hormonal imbalances or digestive issues, and they're screwing up their system with the kind of foods that they're eating, and that's why they can't lose the weight. So it's not only about calories, okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to type in all the foods that you usually eat in a day. Do a couple of days, because every day is different, yeah? How is it when you're out with your family? How is it when you order food? How is it, you know? So how do you do that? You go on the side, it will say your diary. You click on your diary. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. At the top right, you have a barcode. You can scan, like say, I think you have to add the food first. So when you add the food, I'm gonna go right now to the app. Let me just make sure I'm guiding you guys properly, okay? So you go to diary at the bottom, okay? And you see breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you can add the foods, yeah? So let's say we add food, and you can see your calories at the top, so it lets you know. So you click on add food. Now here, you can add any food that you want. You just type it in. All the foods are already in there from people that have been adding it in there. Or you can click at the top right, there's a barcode right under where it says My Foods. You click on barcode and you can scan your own product that's at home to see exactly what's in there and save it. Now, in order to add any food, you're going to have to know how much the food weighs, because then how are you going to know how much you're eating, right? So this might seem a little challenge for you right now. Oh, now I got to weigh my food. But yes, you do. You do have to weigh your food. Just for a couple of days. Just for a week. That's it. This is not to obsess over an app and calculating your food. This is to teach you what food you've been eating, because now this is going to be a wake-up call for you. You're going to say, I can't believe that this is the amount of calories I've been eating in all these foods. This is why you need to know. And also when you start to go out, you'll know, I need to eat this much protein. That one's very high in fat. Okay, I like this meal. It's low in fat, high in carbs, so I'll lower my protein. You'll start to know what to do for the rest of your life. Right now, it seems like you're in college right now trying to learn a topic you have no idea about. But slowly, slowly, you will digest it. And I will keep reminding you and explaining everything to you in the live streams and doing everything with you. But I just want this video to be the foundation of understanding step by step in the beginning. So now you get your scale. You weigh your food. Say, for an example, you're excited right now. You don't have a scale, but you want to know. You can have an idea. You can Google it. What does it look like to eat this amount of food? You know what I mean? So let's say walnuts. 40 grams of walnuts is going to be a little in your palm, in your handful. A chicken breast, a protein chicken breast, one chicken breast is around 100 grams. Okay, so you know. 5 tablespoons of oatmeal, uncooked, is like 50 grams. So every tablespoon of oatmeal is 10 grams. Okay? A palm of rice is around 100 grams of rice, cooked. Okay? So I'm just kind of giving you ideas. And you can also Google things just to have an idea right now. But you also have restaurants that have menus. When you Google it, you say, what is the amount of calories in this salad at Cheesecake Factory? It's available. Okay? You have them online sometimes, and you'll be shocked because salads have 1,500 calories, and that's probably what you should be having in the entire day. You see what I mean? And that's why people don't realize why they gain weight. They're like, but I eat healthy. But they don't realize the oil and the nuts and the dried raisins and all of that in the salad, combined with their breakfast that they had, combined with a little bit of dates and here and there. Yeah, you're at 3,000 calories, and you're supposed to have 1,500. So this is why you have to know this, okay? You have to know this. You have to. Because I could tell you, eat this food, but then you don't follow it over a week, you gain weight, you don't understand why. But now when you understand, you will forever know how to manage your ratios, okay? And you'll know how to manage everything forever. That's why I want to teach you this. Please have patience and believe that you can learn this. And it's not too difficult, okay? It's only difficult because you're not used to it. So then you put your foods in, okay? Order, now I know because of the corona situation, order your scale. You can order it online. You can call the supermarkets, the Carrefour, all of these. You have InstaShop. I don't know where you're at, but here in Dubai, you have online InstaShop, and you can order everything online and stuff like that. And wherever you are, you can also order online. I'm sure you have any grocery store where you can order, you can go there and get it. And then you're gonna weigh your food. Whenever you weigh your food, you have to be clear in the app if it's cooked or uncooked, because it makes a difference, okay? I want you to put all your foods in there, Kit Kat, Snickers, 3 eggs, 50 grams of oatmeal, 2 chicken breasts, whatever, chicken thigh, whatever you put it in there. And then you can switch and swipe it. So you swipe it, you go to the next day, okay? And you do a different day and another day. Now when you scroll at the bottom, go to it and scroll at the bottom. It says nutrition on the left. Click on nutrition. Now it's going to show you your macros, yeah? And it's going to show you your goal. The goal that I told you to put, okay? Your goal is on the right and your total is on the left. You're going to see, oh my God, look how much fat I'm having. And I should only be having this much percent. Look how much carbs I've been having. Now you'll understand. You can click on each one and you could say, why do I have so much carbs? You click on carbohydrates, it's from my breakfast meal. What did I have for breakfast? Oh, it's because of all the fruit and honey I put in my oatmeal. Okay, which that is another topic because fruits are a different source of energy that can store into your stomach when you have too much of it. Okay, and I'm going to share that with you in another video. So you want to make sure you're getting the right carbohydrates, and I'm going to put a guideline, don't worry, for everything that you guys are supposed to be eating. If you have this hormonal imbalances with your thyroid, there are certain foods that you want to boost your thyroid: zinc, selenium, you know what I mean, iron. So those are foods you want to focus on. Even anyone can do that because it helps support our metabolism. Okay, so anyone can focus on zinc and selenium and iron-rich foods, not just people with an hormonal imbalance, but you also want to choose foods that support it as much as possible. Okay, so then you have an idea about that. Now you're seeing, wow, so I used to eat 4,000 calories, but I'm supposed to be eating this much? Now your TDEE is what you're supposed to eat to maintain whatever weight that you're at. That's not the weight that you should be having. So say for an example, it turned out you're eating 2,500 calories every day. And now in order to lose weight, you need to eat around 1,500. Because people will fall in between 1,200, 1,300 to around 1,700 to lose weight. This will be like that. And you don't have to eat the same thing every day. It's good to switch it days you have where you're high carb meals, because that will also make you feel like you have more flexibility. Not every day is the same, and your body adapts to different calorie intakes. If your body is in a system too much, then it's like when you eat too much, it can be too much for your body can store it. So you want your body to understand. Some days it's low, some days it's high, and you have that flexibility according to the energy that you're burning. If you're going to be sitting at home all day, you don't want to be eating a lot of food. You want to eat less, right? Because you're not really burning, you're just chilling at the house. If you're about to have a real hardcore workout the next day, then it's different. You know what I mean? So we're going to alternate between the calories, okay? So it's going to be some days 1,200, some days 1,400, some days 1,600, depending on your training and how you feel and your energy levels. So what you do to do the reverse dieting, this is the most important thing, is that now you know how much you've been eating the past couple of months or years. So you stick to that calories. 2,500, keep it there. Every week, we're going to decrease it. We're going to remove 150 calories. How do you do that? Instead of eating 10 tablespoons of rice, you're now going to eat 8. Okay? Instead of 3 tablespoons of olive oil, you're now going to have 2. Okay? So you're going to slowly lower it, because 1 tablespoon of olive oil is like 120 calories or something. So 2-3 spoons of olive oil, that's your entire meal. So it's crazy, yeah? And it's fat as well. And we're not trying to have high fat. Unless insulin resistance and PCOS later, yes, but not now. So this is why it's important, because then you'll take your food seriously. You'll say, no, I can't put 3 tablespoons of olive oil in my meal. That's too much fat. But if someone who doesn't know that, they'll be like, this is olive oil. It's very healthy for you. It's okay. Put olive oil. It's no problem. I'm not eating burger. It's like, it's not about that. It's the energy. It is going to affect you, you know? So that's why it needs to be very understood. And you need to look at these things. Trust me. And I'm going to put a list of foods in the guideline that I recommend to be on your food list. Now, another point that I also want to bring up is I believe that blood type plays a real big role on how our body feels and reacts to certain foods, okay? I read the blood type diet book around 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, and I've been applying it to my clients' food plans, and it has been nothing but positive results, okay? Especially for people who deal with digestive issues. If you're dealing with bloating, gassing, your blood type really can determine, and it can be like a reference for you, okay? For an example, blood type O, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter plus or negative. Blood type O are very well with lamb, beef, salmon. They digest it very well. Blood type A, complete opposite. If they eat beef or meat, they gain weight, they store it, they feel sluggish, they don't digest it well. They do better with chicken and seafood. B positive or B plus. With chicken, the worst. And I've seen my clients that are blood type B, they gain weight when they eat chicken and they don't feel good. And a lot of the times gain it in their arms, which is pretty crazy because I have a database. You see this form that you filled out? I have a long form whenever I train anyone. I make them fill out all these questions. So I look at every single profile and I And I compare the similarities, and I do like this analysis, and I realized, yes, the blood type diet does work. Okay, but it's not only the following the food, it's the calories, it's everything else, and exercise and all that stuff, okay? But what I realized that I said, this is a good reference to use to understand what are the best sources of protein and fats and stuff that I should be eating, okay? I dealt with bloating for months, and I didn't realize that I was eating the foods that were causing me to bloat, but I also had a bacteria imbalance. And I fixed that, which I'm going to share with you guys in the upcoming videos, okay? Because that could also be a problem, which I'll explain later, because this is already a long video. So I am going to put the list of foods that are good for each blood type so that if you know your blood type, you can use it. But either way, even if you don't know it, just pay attention to how your body's responding. If you get bloated after a food, write it down and understand which foods are you getting bloated from. Try not to have too many things in one meal so you can determine what food it is. If you have too many vegetables in one plate, how are you going to know which vegetable it is? So you have one protein, one source of fat, one source of carb. If it's chicken, have it with asparagus, have it with sweet potato. Now you just have 3 items. If you have a salad with everything in it, you're not going to know. This is if you're dealing with digestive issues, okay? So this is just to, to understand a little bit of how to approach the kind of foods. And I'm going to put the best foods that I believe that will boost your metabolism, that will be a great thermic effect to burn more energy, to support your muscle recovery, to make sure that you're getting all the different kind of proteins like your amino acids, all the essential amino acids, everything, which I don't want to complicate right now, that your body needs in order to recover properly. And good source of carbohydrates that are not going to affect your blood sugar levels, okay? And if you put it cold, that will be even better, like I mentioned before, in the refrigerator for 3 hours, okay? There are also other spices and other foods that you can incorporate that will also have a high thermic effect as well, like apple cider vinegar. But you have to see how your body responds to it. Apple cider vinegar is a very good way to help your body burn fat faster, okay? To simplify it. So you get a table or 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, you put it in a glass of water, you drink it. Now you can drink it before your workout. You can also put it in your salad or drink it before you eat. And this will suppress your appetite. So if you're someone who gets really hungry or craves sugar, you can just drink it just because, and it will bring your insulin levels low. That hormone that stores your body fat, okay? One of the things that it does. But when your blood sugar is up, that's when your insulin gets spiked. So we want to stabilize that hormone, because that hormone is what stores fat. So when it's low, it doesn't store fat. So apple cider vinegar is a source of that. Chili peppers also. And great spices like ginger and turmeric are a great thermic effect that burn energy when you digest them, okay? So I'm going to have all of this listed in the website, so when you go on there, it's there. And so you have also the ratio and how to approach the carb cycling. I'm going to put the days of your training and how to have your carbs. And then I'm going to put a meal idea so you have an understanding of how your meals will look like. And then in Facebook, you ask me all the questions that you want, because that's why I created it. I don't expect you to watch this video now and understand everything, okay? Now we're going to go on Facebook. You're going to start doing it. I'm going to do the live stream. I'm going to talk to you guys, and I'm going to support you along the whole way, because I want to make sure that you understand everything and you will learn. I promise you, you will learn step by step, okay? So now you get the calorie number, the TDE, you put it in the app. Now that's just to maintain your weight. If you want to lose it, we're going to go a couple hundred calories less than that, 200, 300, 400, and we see how your body's responding, okay? But what I want you to see first, like I mentioned, just to make a recap, I want you to put your diary, put the food that you've been eating for the past couple of months or years or whatever. So we understand, how much were you eating? How much were you eating the past week, the past month, the past 2 months? And let's start from there and gradually come down so that your body doesn't freak out, so that you don't feel overwhelmed, and so that your body has time to adjust to this new lifestyle, okay? We want your body to let go of the fat and not hold on to it and freak out. And then slowly we'll reach your TDE and go a little bit lower. And then when you build muscle and you get stronger is when we will start to increase your calories again. Why? Because when you build muscle, your metabolism is going to speed up. That means all the systems in your body are going to be functioning much better and efficiently. So the more muscle you have, the more your body is burning energy. But you don't have much muscle right now. You haven't been training. So your systems are very low right now. So we need to go lower on the calories slowly. And then by the time we go low and you've built up that muscle, we stay there for a little while, let you burn fat, burn fat, burn fat, burn fat. Now you built a little bit of muscle. Now we slowly increase the calories, slowly, and let your body adapt. And then we see how your body's responding as we gradually add it. And then you can slowly keep adding if you're not gaining weight, until you get to a point where you're happy with the amount of food that you're eating, your energies are amazing, and you're still burning fat, you're gaining lean muscle, and you're at a good point. You're like, this is my calorie range that I want to stick to, where I feel perfect. I'm burning my fat, my body's really transforming, and I feel good, and it's the perfect amount of food that I should be eating in a day. So there are steps and different approaches on how we're going to take it, okay? So I'm going to do the live stream. I want you guys to get the scale, to download the app, to play with it, so that when I come into the live stream, you have all your questions there, and then I'm going to guide you step by step with me on the live stream how to do everything. But this is just the foundation to understand what we're going to be doing in the upcoming videos. And in the upcoming videos, I'm also going to be breaking down very important topics that I want you also to know about. Sugar cravings, certain foods that we need to pay attention to according to whatever it is that you could be dealing with, okay? So that you understand how to approach everything. So it's just little tips here and there to be sharing with you, not overwhelming information like today, you know what I mean? This is a lot right now. But it's slowly, okay? That's why I didn't want to give this to you on day one. Because I'm like, first, let them get into the working out. Let them get into the drinking water. Let them get a little motivated, okay? If I give this to you day one, I feel like I might lose you and you'll feel overwhelmed and say, oh my God, day one, I'm counting calories. Oh, this is too complicated. So it's like, just slowly get a little excited. And then now it's like, okay, let's start applying this stuff, okay? I love you guys, and I'm really excited for you because I know that if you follow all the steps that you need to do, that you will transform. You will. No doubt about it. I've been doing this for years. No matter what hormonal imbalance that you're going through, we can fix it. We're going to support and give the body what it needs and approach it in a very smart way where your body will not freak out, will not go in survival mechanism, your energy levels will not crash, you will recover, and you will feel amazing and still get amazing results. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.